Hi, everyone. It's the truth what everyone says about you. You really are beautiful and inviting. When I was a little girl, I used to sit at the end of my bed and look out the window. And I would look up at the sky and beg God to take me home. I did not like it here. And this went on for a really long time. I knew there was some other place. It just didn't feel right. So, well, it didn't happen. And so that part of me kind of stepped into the background. And decades later, I'm sitting in my office looking out the window at the beautiful blue sky, and in a second, the veil lifted. And I was oneness, observing, being aware of the physical world. And in that moment, what I knew was that I never left home. It's not like we leave home or self when we come into our physical bodies and this physical world. And then, magically, when we leave our bodies, we return to it. You know, I tried to think about a metaphor for this, and what I came up with is the hosta plant. I don't know how many of you are familiar with hosta, but they arrive in the spring. They're huge and magnificent. They send up this beautiful flower at some point, and then they're gone. However, the essence of the hosta never goes, because in the spring, guess what? There it is again. You know? So it's like us. I mean, it's not like we are something different than self, from which we came, which we are now, and which we will be returning to. It's the physical world that's just a manifestation of that. So, A Course in Miracles defines a miracle as a shift in perception. That day when I looked out the window and all of a sudden I realized that I was watching a play, I was at the movies, I had experienced a miracle, because I can always know now that where I am is in self, and I'm participating in this great show, but that's really all that's happening. We live in concurrent realities. The realities coexist. There is the reality of ego. We're all sitting in it. The physical world, our physical bodies, our life-death experience. And there is the reality of self, which is what I referred to as home so many years ago. The reality of self is never ending. Self is an energy that vibrates at the frequency of love, compassion, creativity, connection. Ego vibrates at the frequency of fear, pain, and separation. We actually believe that we're separate. I thought that too, until one day I was sitting across from somebody and I realized that the air between us actually connected us. So there is no separation in this room. because everything is energy. So even if it looks like, oh, here I am between you, because that which brushes up against me brushes up against you, and we are connected. It is the primary intention of our soul to consciously remember our oneness with self, not as an intellectual concept, but as a knowing in our being. That's what happened that day. I knew it. I had read about it. I had thought about it. It sounded good. But I grokked it. I got it. On a soul level, this is our purpose and goal. We're always hearing, what's your purpose? What's your goal? Well, there's an answer. On a spiritual level, our goal is to remember. Our challenge is to be in both realities. We have a spiritual GPS system. Maybe we call it intuition. I call it the fulfillment of our soul's intention to remember. Whatever the reason, we all have it. It is programmed to bring us home to the realization of self. We know from child developmental theory that for a time after we are born, the infant has no idea of separation and duality. It doesn't know where it leaves off and the other begins, because there is no other. Forgetting happens as a result of our being in this physical world and being socialized. A powerful way we forget is with the concept of time. Young children live in the now. They do not get this time thing. And years and years and years can go by, and they still really don't understand it. So we were young children, so we have been socialized out of the now into this time-space world. It's ironic that as spiritual seekers, we're taught to, understand the now, be in the now. The first spiritual book I read was Ram Dass's Be Here Now. We were in the now. We're always in the now when we're born. We're trained out of it. Another way we forget self is through egoic pain and our reaction to it. So what is egoic pain? Well, we all feel it. It's that everyday emotional, mental, spiritual pain. There's not a person in this room who hasn't felt it, and there's probably somebody sitting here who's feeling it right now. As infants and toddlers, our every move is cause for joy and celebration. People clap when we burp. I mean, really. And other things. My goodness, aren't we just amazing? Yeah? And when we first use the toilet, whoa! I mean, come on. I think we get used to that. And then, boom, we're not good enough. Our parents don't have time for us. Maybe they are annoyed or they get angry with us. We have to color in the lines. We have to hold a bat a better way. And then we go to school, and we're compared, and there are all kinds of expectations. The only way a child can interpret rejection, abandonment, and inner pain is, it's my fault. Whatever is going on around a child, if it's not good, it's my fault. Remember, it wasn't so long ago that they were the center of the universe. So then the negative beliefs happen. There's something wrong with me. I'm unworthy. I'm unlovable. I'm not good enough. Rejection, abandonment, and internal pain is unavoidable. I'm telling you, no matter what your childhood experience, you could have come from that family that doesn't exist, that does not have dysfunction, you know, not yours, not mine, but let's, you know, the law of probability, there may be one. Whatever. Okay, so it comes with this territory. I can guarantee everyone has these parts that hold these negative beliefs. We mistakenly think we are these parts. We say, I'm depressed, I'm lonely, I'm a caretaker. No. There may be a part of you that's depressed. There may be a part of you that's lonely. And there may be a part of you that's a caretaker. But you are all that is. You are self, and you are eternal. I'd like you to do a little experiment here. Take a look around you and focus on someone. And you in the front row, do not focus on me. Because you will blow me over. Okay. So, all right, now, whomever you focused on, just know that they have young, vulnerable parts who feel not good enough. Vulnerable parts who feel unworthy and unlovable, just like you and me. So just see if you can connect to that in the person that you're focusing on. How do you feel toward this person, knowing this? If you have a warm feeling, a loving feeling, you're in self. You are in self energy. Wouldn't you like to live there? Yeah. What a place to live. Can you imagine what the world would be like if this is how we greeted each other? If in the back of our brains we said, wow, wow, and our hearts opened with love and warmth. We could radiate love just by recognizing each other's vulnerabilities. And they're not different in you and me, or the person sitting next to you, or the person in the back of the room. We are the same. We have masks. Oh boy, are we good at that. But just know that whatever you greet is a part. And standing behind it, that's where the pain is. Now think about what we actually see when we engage with someone. Our fears of not being good enough certainly color what we see and feel. All that chatter in the back of your brain, comparing, judging. Is she better than me? Am I less than him? Oh my. We could choose to stop that. I want to tell you a story to demonstrate this. My 4-year-old grandson broke his favorite monkey cup. Now, this is devastating to a 4-year-old, right? But the dynamic you will recognize. I'm in the other room, I hear the crash, and I hear this wail, and I see this come past me, sobbing. So I go after him. I put him in my lap. He is full of pain. My heart's going out to him. And what happens then is I'm thinking to myself, and what comes? Fix it? Rescue it? Oh, I could tell him it was an accident. No. Oh, I could tell him we'll get him another cup. No. What I do is I take a breath and I sit with him. And I say, it really, really hurts when we break something that we love. And he looks at me and he says, I'm so angry with myself, and hits his thigh. It's my fault. I just sit there holding this loving space with him until he calms down. I keep validating his feelings. So, what we see there is we see a part of him that was in such pain, a vulnerable part that says, it's my fault, there's something wrong with me. And then we see a protective part that runs. How do you run? How do I run from the pain? How do I try to numb it? How do you distance yourself from your pain? You're not unlike him. We may do it in more destructive ways, but we do it. So we happened to find the exact monkey cup. And when he got it, he was ecstatic. However, what he said is, I'm going to put this in my room so I can't break it again. Now, how many times have you made the decision, never again? And is this why we don't take risks? So the way to be with our parts, because we all have them, and that's ego. It's like we're a glass that gets shattered and those parts come out. Some theories call it subpersonalities or aspects of self. The greatest transmuter of low vibrant ego energy is compassion. Compassion for ourselves and compassion for others. We can choose to live in and from compassion. It's a choice. It feels so much better. That's what makes us make the choice, because it feels so much better. So when the ego is calling you, you remember, wait a minute, do I want to feel that way or do I want to feel better? Reach for compassion. Reach for gratitude. Those are the healers. Those are the alchemists that we can use. So, I got the signal a while back. So, as you can see, I'm moving past many wonderful things to the conclusion, because I don't want to get thrown out of here. Each of us has a deep and poignant longing to live from self, to live from this holy place, this state of grace that we sing about. This longing This deep soul yearning is directing each and every one of us, whether we realize it or not. It is our spiritual GPS. It is the primary intention of our souls to consciously remember our oneness with all that is, to live from self. The reunion is our life purpose and goal. I hope that you'll be able to join us in the workshop today, where we're going to go much more deeply into this and look at ways that we can bring more self-energy into our system. Because when you have enough self-energy in your system, you reach a critical mass that really helps you to be self-led. Thank you so much.